off the end here. Go, last one. Last one. With a vacuum tester, I'll put my finger over it, look. So let's check this valve. Happy Saturday, how we doing today? Let's see what we're working on. I did a short on these 3.8 Wrangler heads. Maybe you watched it. I removed this bolt hole here. It's a good thing I got it out because I have to put a stud in it to surface it. Because I have a plate that mounts flat here, so it runs into this valve cover. So I put a stud with a nut. And that'll mount to this plate that's adjustable. And that's what this looks like. Now we have an air gap here by the valve cover, so it's not pinched, you know, up sideways. But it's too far back in the machine, so we have to move these in. I do that by just loosening this. And there's one on the other side. Now it can just slide back. So I just slide this back. I'm just looking to hit the center of this cutter. The cutter spins right here. And then I just lock them down. Now that those are all tight, I gotta pinch this up in the back. I gotta put some load on it with a jack stand. And that just goes underneath here. And I just randomly find a spot. I'm going to use the valve cover rail to grab it. Now we have to level it. This is a precision level. Hang on. Now that this tripod is thoroughly in my way, see the bubbles all the way this way. I do that on purpose, and I'll show you why. So first we level it this way. And I just take a big old hammer, rubber one, and tap it down. Here comes the bubble. Slowly. Oops. We'll pass. Come back. Another tighten. They're already tight, I'm just double checking them. Don't want anything to come loose. I'll explain why later. Now I'm going to pinch it up with the jack stand in the back. I'm just going to turn that by hand up underneath here. Make sure I'm centered on that valve cover rail. This ain't bolted to anything. Okay, my bubble is to the front and to the left. That's how it is. I am going to change it. So let me get you back over here. Okay, you got your back down over the head. I forgot to mention, very important, try to get it out of here. Wiggle it around. You don't want this thing flying out. Okay, here we go. Wear safety glasses too. Here we go. Watch out. I'm going to do a witness mark. See where we're at. Let's go to the other end. Here we go at the other end. And I'm going to watch this thing. It has numbers on it. It's got to be the same number on this end. Here we go. That's good. I can see the other witness mark. I checked the witness mark at the other end. It's hitting all the way across the surface. So let's surface it. Here we go. I don't think this head is very warped. I didn't check it. Cutting good. Put it on hyperlapse, huh? Just coming off the end here. I ended up taking 2.5 thousandths off it. It is really flat. Now it's got a better surface finish for that MLS gasket. Okay, there we go. to get this out and get the other head in. So that thing cleaned when I did that 2000s cut. But I like to use WD-40, some kind of lubricant on the surface on the PCD cutter. Sometimes it'll tear the surface. And another thing is, when I made my 2000s, I went back and didn't cut and did my final pass this way. I prefer to finish this way, because if you finish with this cutter and this end's cutting down here, the back side of the cutter can actually drag a piece of something across it. So I always finish in this direction. Ed. Hey Ed, no hard feelings, huh? Hey, Ed's a good friend of mine. He has a shop back in Arkansas. Great machinist, great machinist. I'll put a link down in the description of his channel. All right, that surfaces other head. So I got it up here, and I'll get it leveled again. I'm not going to bore you with all the, yeah. I'll be right back. Just coming off the second head here. I took an extra 2,000 off this head, which is just fine. Alright, we'll shut her down. Hey, you guys in the comments, that 2000s doesn't matter. First of all, it's just nothing, 2000s, what that is. And from the factory, these heads are not, there'll be 10,000 difference between the two of them. So that must have been on the rear of the engine. This is the transverse, you know, not like a trans, yeah, never mind. It sits sideways in the car. So that was probably the rear head. And that ran a little bit hotter because it, you know, it did blow a head gasket. So let me get them washed, we'll get them together. Hey, welcome to Monday. How we doing today? I didn't get a chance to get these heads done the other day. I guess Saturday, huh? So let's get back on them. We got them all cleaned, looking sharp. New exhaust guides. But first, we have to set the height of this valve. This is a non-adjustable valve train, so everything has to be the proper height. I have a tool for that. I just put the valve in it and watch this spinny thing go around. So let's go back over to the other bench. Okay, we're down by the valve running bench. Here's my spec. The intakes are going to be 960 and the exhausts are going to be 990. So let me check one. I'll check one down here so you'll stay in frame. Hope you can see that. Maybe you can. It says 997, so I got to take 7 off of it. This is my valve grinder turned on. A little bit of light. Well, that's about it. So it just goes in this end. Now let's check it. 92. I'm going to take 2 more thou off of it. It'll work perfectly there, but I'm going to just get it on 90. There you go, right on 90. Let's do them all. Okay, all the heights are set. Now I got to oil the stems. Don't put them together dry. They're all oiled now. Hey, I set these on cardboard. Don't ever set a head down on its surface that I just machined. So now I got to put a shim on it. This keeps it from eating the aluminum from the spring. You know, the bottom of the spring is pretty rough right here. On a high performance build, we blend that just a little bit. And then I got a Viton seal, a premium seal. Always use Viton. And I just tap that on with a hammer. So I got to oil the top. And I put oil on the spring seat. That kind of glues this down. And then seal goes on. Work it carefully over that valve stem. Now these come with, I call this a seal condom. They tell you to put it over the keepers and then put this down over it. It's supposed to protect it. But you know, if you just kind of roll it on there, these condoms, I never liked wearing them and don't use them. Here we go, last one. And that's what those look like. Now we have to flip the heads up and get rid of my cardboard. It can sit on the surface of the intake manifold, this surface here. It still can't get gouged, but I'm on top of a smooth metal bench and it won't hurt it. It's the head surface that matters so much. So now I got to put the valves and springs on. Hope you're in frame. And some keepers. Hang on. Here we go. So I got my spring, my pneumatic compressor, and that's that. Let me get you on hyperlapse. Last one. Okay, one of the last steps is I'm going to vacuum test it. This is just a simple piece of foam with a vacuum tester. I'll put my finger over it, look. So let's check this valve. I've already checked them all, just going to show one. We already know it's going to work, right? Look at that, perfect. Okay, we're almost done. Now I'm going to put this is called a heat tab. The center of this will melt out at 250 degrees. Here's what that looks like. They don't always fully leak out. Sometimes they'll just sag, but once this sags, you've overheated it. Don't tell me you didn't. So I just put a little glue on here. And put it on this freeze plug, which goes right to the water. So that will get a true temperature of the water. Look at that. Last thing I'm going to do is put those in bags because they got to be clean. They just got to be clean. I appreciate you guys coming along, and I hope you're enjoying your Memorial Day weekend. Today is Memorial Day. I work. You got to remember why we're celebrating it. We're celebrating the fallen soldiers, the men and women who fought for our country so that we can have our freedom. So please don't drink and drive. You know, if you're with a buddies having a barbecue, you don't do it, man, please. All right? You guys have a good day. Be nice to each other. Bye.